Alright, welcome back to items. This will be the starting items that almost all Xerath players start with. It's Doran's Rin to Potions to Ward. That's it. If you're in a very favorable matchup and you're very confident, you can go Dark Seal, 3 pots, and then a ward. So this is for if you're against a matchup you're very confident, or even if you're a very aggressive Xerath player and you're gonna abuse Xerath's his ranges and you're planning to get a lot of kills, or if you're invading. Really depends on a lot of stuff. It's especially good if you end up duking first blood or a kill. Then you can go this and then get Dark Seal second, and then start building towards Lost Chapter. So really the first item you want to have done is Ludens. But in the first back, you want to get Chapter and Boots. And then depending on how much gold you have, you can either A, upgrade to Blast and Wand, or do Boots. Usually I upgrade to Blast and Wand, because the early movement speed's enough for what I need. And then go Blast and Wand, and then finish it off with Ludens. So this is your first item almost all the time. Unless you're support, or unless you're getting really destroyed. If you're getting absolutely wrecked, then you might have to go Zhonya's first, and then Ludens. So, after Ludens, the item you want to go next really depends on, let's say, you get Sork next. It really depends on what's happening. You gotta have 3 options. You get Death Cap, Morellicon, and Void Staff. You go Morellicon if you're up against a lot of healing, if you got a Graves jungle and they got Death Dance, if you're up against Kayn to reduce his healing on his ult, if their ADC is fed and has Bork and Bloodthirster already, then you want to go Morellicon just for the grievous wounds. If they don't have a lot of healing, or their healing is behind, then you want to go Void Staff if they have a lot of MR. So if they're already stacking MR, 2+ tanks, and they're already building MR items, then you want to go Void Staff. If they don't have any MR or not a lot of healing, you want to go Death Cap. So you have like insane amount of AP, and you can basically one-shot their AD and support and do a hella damage. But most of the time I end up going Morellicon because I like the health I get in the AP, especially the early Magic Pen. Just against the supports or top laners that happen to start building MR, or if my opponent starts building like a Banshee's Veil or a Maw or whatever. So, third item, I usually go Void Staff, but sometimes depending on, again, if they aren't building a lot of MR, then Sork and Morellicon should be good for now, and you can go either Rylai's or Liandry's. But I almost always go Void Staff, and then I pick between Rylai's or Liandry's. So I go Rylai's when my bot is ahead, which never happens, but when it does happen, I go Rylai's. So I can help peel for my AD more. If I have a fed Draven down there, I want the game to be over as soon as possible. So I want to Rylai's to help peel for him. Especially if I have someone that's like Jinx or Twitch or somebody, even Kaisai, where they need a kite, they're amazing late game, and I want them to stay alive. So I go Rylai's. If I'm up against a lot of HP heavy tanks, I want to go Liandry's. So this is good against Mundo or Cho'Gath, like somebody who doesn't really stack a lot of stats, but does have a lot of HP. Even it's pretty good against Soraka too, because some Soraka players tend to stack a lot of HP rather than stats, and they also lose more on the healing. But I have seen some Sorakas go Warmogs, so again Liandry's is a really good counter, including Morellicons, to Soraka. But most of the time I do go Rylai's. Then I finish it off with Death Cap. I'll show you guys an example of the build I'd go if I'm really far behind. So this is Zhonya's first, then Ludens, and then it really depends how the game's going at this point. If I'm still very far behind, I can tell by the time I finish this build, everyone else is gonna be long done, and my bot or top or any of my other laners are ahead. At this point, I might just decide to build a bit more peel. I might go Rylai's next, Liandry's, and then go Death Cap, and just play as like a pure tank, or sell that and go Grievous Wound, something like this, where I go Rylai's instead of the M-Pen just to help peel. That's like if that barely ever happens, where I or the Xerath player gets absolutely dominated, where they have to switch their whole build more towards like a support side than like a mid laner, just to help out whoever's ahead. But a build like this would be Morellicons, and then by the time you finish Morellicons, I mean you have 3 items, so usually by this point, when you go Zhonya's first, your enemies are starting to build MR against you, so you want to go Void Staff and then Death Cap. So you really substitute Zanyas for one of these items. I don't recommend going Archangels because by the time tier gets fully stacked, you're like games are over too quick. I almost never go Banshee's Veil, even though it is a good item against Vigor or Lux or somebody like that. But I don't know. I just almost never go. I just like the raw damage, and I want to focus more on sidestepping their abilities than getting hit by them. So another build that I do see is Magi's, where they build Magi's because they start at Dark Seal and they have it fully stacked. And in this case, you definitely want to go Magic Pen next. So one of these, and then again you can go Rylai's and then Death Cap to finish it off, or go Void Staff. Okay, well I'm not AFK. Go Void Staff, and that's basically it for the builds. I do have a spicy build that I'll save later. It's my no boots build, but you know I'll keep that one in the pocket till later. Next, actually, that might be it. Yeah, okay, that's it for so far. So I hope you guys enjoy the guide. Next will be next episode we'll be talking about landing phase, how to land skill shots, who to ban every game, and like basically landing phase. And then the next one will be mid game, and then late game, and then tips and tricks and other stuff. Hope you guys enjoy, and if you guys have any suggestions, put them in the comments. Thank you.